Community gardens have enormous potential to weave together social and ecological justice within the same space. In this video, I'm going to name 9 benefits that they're capable of offering. Note that these community gardens can be in urban, suburban, or rural places. Although, for the purposes of this video, I have in mind cities and urban landscapes. First, community gardens respond to food deserts in cities. Food deserts are areas without access to healthy food, where grocery stores are miles from where many people live. Here's a statistic. 15% of American households and 1 in 5 American children are undernourished. If you're living in poverty, you may not have access to transportation, like a car, and have to rely on public transit to visit these grocery stores, making shopping a few-hour ordeal. Or you may not have the money to shop at these grocery stores. The result is that many city dwellers living in poverty are also living in food deserts, and they have to buy their food from gas stations or fast food joints. Food can either be medicine or poison, and one reason why poverty status is a risk factor for poor health is because the cheapest foods are the least healthy. This is because government subsidized commodity crops like corn, soy, or wheat lower the price of unhealthy foods like white bread, high fructose corn syrup, meat from factory farms, and more. Meanwhile, healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, or whole grains are more expensive and inaccessible to poorer people. Therefore, community gardens allow people living in food deserts to access healthy, local produce. They can also be partnered with mutual aid networks and food pantries or free fridges to distribute this produce. Transforming a vacant lot that isn't being used for anything into a site of food production amongst poverty seems like a worthwhile project. Second, community gardens allow urbanites who have little access to natural spaces outside of the city to experience natural areas within the city. For example, these gardens are often spaces of denser bird and insect life compared to the surrounding areas, and this helps people learn an environmental ethic through forming an emotional connection with their gardens and food source. People learn about where their food comes from, which fruits or vegetables grow in which seasons, and they begin to care for the ecological health of their local environments. After all, they're dependent on these places for some of their own food. Indeed, these people may realize in a more full-bodied way their dependence and interconnection with the natural world. Third, community gardens make a neighborhood more aesthetically pleasing and beautiful by cleaning up potentially trash-filled vacant lots, which might also be hazardous, and turning them from an eyesore into a vibrant place, humming with insects, bird life, the conversations of other people, maybe the sounds of kids playing and laughing, and so on. Fourth, community gardens have lots of environmental goods. Many urban soils are contaminated by pollutants from industrial factories, waste sites, dumping, or lead from house paint that flakes off into the soil. And environmentalists have tended to overlook urban areas in their protection of the natural world. Yet, these soils can be restored with compost, mulch, organic matter, and even fungi that sequester heavy metals. And through composting, the community reduces their garbage waste, that is, their waste stream, their contribution to the local landfill. Restoring degraded soil helps to sequester carbon, boost soil microbial life, and create nutrient-rich food. In fact, studies show that healthier soil leads to more beneficial microbes in your gut microbiome. Air pollutants are absorbed by plants, while these plants also release oxygen to make the air cleaner. Getting your food locally decreases the food miles, that is, the need to use fossil fuels to travel to a grocery store, or the amount of fossil fuels that go into shipping and transporting food that you buy at a store from one place to your local store. Plants also absorb rainwater, and this reduces rainwater runoff into the sewer systems, which can carry pollutants from the cities into rivers and lakes downstream. Fifth, these community gardens foster community building. You can meet new people in your neighborhood, make friends, deepen connections, or counter loneliness. Community garden members usually gain a sense of pride in the well being and appearance of their neighborhood, and this means they might begin caring for that environment and its residents more than they did before. People can learn how to coexist in a multicultural environment and gain a sense of belonging and home, as well as appreciation and gratitude for each other and the non human life within the garden. Six, community gardens can be a space of education in food growing techniques, environmental issues, other mutual aid work, or political education. For example, a person of color in a low income community might talk with others to reach consensus on a shared sense of oppression within the neighborhood and what they can do about it. These gardens can be a space of rehabilitation and skill building for marginalized people like the unhoused, disabled people, veterans, and folks recently released from prison. Seventh, community gardens can encourage a healthy lifestyle through sharing recipes for healthy cooking, as well as the physical labor and exercise of tending to the garden. Eighth, community gardens are one step towards local food security and even food sovereignty, in which a community has full control over its food source. In a time of rising shocks to supply chain through climate change and economic instability, meeting your food needs in this hyper-local way is only a good thing. Finally, in a fast-paced world, gardening is an opportunity to slow down, connect with non-human life, and connect with other people who have similar interests. This slowing down allows time for reflection and deciding which parts of our busy to-do list are actually worthwhile and provide meaning to our lives. They are places both of peaceful rest and purposeful hard work. So, what do you think about community gardens?